My name is Anna Cole. I am 28 years old. 3 weeks ago, I came home early from work. My front door was already unlocked. I never leave it unlocked. I walked inside slowly. Everything looked normal. Nothing missing, nothing broken. But something felt wrong. Very wrong. Then I checked my bedroom camera, and what I saw on that footage made me sit on the floor and not move for 20 minutes. Before I tell you what I saw, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and tell me your country in the comments. Now let's begin. I am not a paranoid person. I want to be clear about that before I tell you anything else. I don't check under the bed. I don't double lock doors obsessively. I don't lie awake at night imagining things. I am practical, organized, the kind of person who solves problems rather than worrying about them. Which is why, when I came home that Tuesday and found my front door unlocked, I didn't panic immediately. I stood on my porch, looked at the door, thought back carefully. Had I forgotten to lock it that morning? I never forgot. In 3 years of living alone in that apartment, I had never once left without checking the lock. But people make mistakes. I told myself that, pushed the door open, and walked inside. Everything looked exactly the same. Living room, kitchen, bathroom, normal, undisturbed, perfectly ordinary. Nothing missing, nothing moved, nothing broken. That was the part that should have reassured me. Instead, it made my skin crawl. Because a robbery makes sense. A robbery has a logic. Someone comes in, takes things, leaves. But this, someone had been in my home and taken nothing, which meant they hadn't come for my things. They had come for something else entirely. I had installed the bedroom camera 8 months earlier, not because I was afraid, because I had a cat, Milo, who had developed a habit of knocking things off my dresser at 3 a.m., and I had wanted evidence to show my vet that something was wrong with him. The camera was small, positioned in the corner, pointing at the room. I had forgotten it was there most of the time, until that Tuesday. I opened the app on my phone, pulled up the day's footage, fast-forwarded through the morning, Milo sleeping on the bed, sunlight moving across the floor, nothing. Then, 11:47 a.m., movement. The bedroom door opened, and someone walked in. I watched the footage 3 times before I could process what I was seeing. A woman, medium height, dark hair pulled back, moving through my bedroom with a particular ease that made my stomach turn. Not the ease of someone who had broken in, the ease of someone who felt, somehow, that they had a right to be there. She walked to my dresser first, opened the top drawer, looked through it carefully, closed it. Then she sat on my bed. My bed. She sat there for several minutes, looking around the room, at my things, my photos, my life. Then she stood up, walked to my wardrobe, opened it, took out a dress, my green dress, the one I wore on special occasions, and held it against herself, looked in the mirror, put it back, carefully, exactly where it had been. Then she walked out. The bedroom door closed. I heard the front door, even on the footage, click shut, and she was gone. I sat on my kitchen floor for 20 minutes. I know it was 20 minutes because I checked the time when I sat down and checked it again when I stood up. 20 minutes of nothing. My brain simply refusing to process what my eyes had shown it. When I could think clearly, I did what I always do. I went back to the footage. This time, I went further. She had been there before, 4 times. I scrolled back through weeks of footage I had never reviewed because I had forgotten the camera existed. 4 previous visits, all on weekdays, all between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m., always when I was at work, always the same pattern. Front door, bedroom, dresser, bed, wardrobe. Sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, but always careful, always leaving everything exactly as she found it, always gone before I came home. 5 visits total, that I knew of. The camera had only been recording for 8 months. Before that, I had no way of knowing. I didn't call the police immediately. I know that might seem strange, but I needed to understand something first. How did she get in? I had one spare key. One. I had given it to my boyfriend, James, 6 months into our relationship, a year and a half ago, so he could water my plants when I traveled for work. I looked at the footage again, studied her face. I didn't recognize her, but James would know who she was. I was certain of that. I called him that evening. He came over at 7. I didn't tell him why, just, "Can you come over? I need to show you something." He arrived with takeout and a smile, and the particular ease of a man who has no idea what is about to happen to him. I sat him on the couch, opened my phone, and played the footage. I watched his face, not the screen, his face, and I saw the exact moment he recognized her. It was very quick, a flicker, almost nothing, but I had been watching for it, and I saw it. He tried to deny it first. "I don't know who that is." I looked at him. "James. Seriously, I have no idea." "Look at your face," I said, "when you recognized her." He stopped, looked at the floor. "Who is she?" I said. A long pause. "Her name is Rachel," he said quietly. "She's my ex." "How does she have a key to my apartment?" He rubbed his face. "I gave her a key," he said, 2 years ago, before we got together. She used to water my plants when— 2 years ago, I said. "I forgot she had it," he said quickly. "I swear I forgot." "You forgot," I said. "Anna, she has been in my home," I said, 5 times that I know of, going through my things, sitting on my bed, trying on my clothes. He looked at the screen. "I didn't know," he said. "I promise I didn't know she was doing this." I looked at him, and I made a decision. "Okay," I said. He looked surprised. "I believe you," I said. He exhaled. "But," I said, "I need you to do something." "Anything," he said. "Don't call her," I said. "Don't text her. Don't tell her anything." He frowned. "Why?" "Because," I said, "I'm not finished yet." I called a locksmith the next morning, changed every lock, new key, new deadbolt, new everything. Then I called a security company, 3 new cameras, living room, hallway, front door, all professionally installed, all connected to my phone, all recording continuously. Then I waited. 8 days later, a Thursday, I called in sick to work, stayed home, lights off, car moved around the corner. At 12:23 p.m., my phone buzzed. Front door camera. Rachel, standing outside my door, key in hand. She tried the key. It didn't work. She tried again. Still nothing. She stood there for a moment, looked around, then she took out her phone, made a call, waited, hung up, tried the key one more time, then she left. I had everything on camera, her face, the key, the attempts, the date and time, everything. I called the police that afternoon, filed a report, provided all 6 visits of footage, provided the new footage of the attempted entry. The officer looked at everything carefully. "This is stalking and criminal trespass," I said. "Yes, that's what I thought." Rachel was charged. The footage was undeniable. 6 documented entries, 1 attempted entry after the locks were changed. Her lawyer tried to argue she had believed she still had permission. The footage of her sitting on my bed, trying on my dress, suggested otherwise. The case was settled. Restraining order, criminal record, consequences that would follow her for years. James and I, that's a longer story. I believed him when he said he hadn't known, but knowing he had a spare key to his ex-girlfriend's home and had simply forgotten to ask it back told me something about how carefully he thought about the people in his life, including me. We ended things 3 months later, quietly, without drama. Some endings don't need to be loud, they just need to happen. I still have Milo. He still knocks things off the dresser at 3 a.m. The vet says he's perfectly healthy and just enjoys chaos. I've decided to believe that's a reasonable way to live. I think about that Tuesday sometimes, standing on my porch, looking at my unlocked door, telling myself people make mistakes. The instinct that said something is wrong was right. It was always right. I had just never had a reason to listen to it before. Now I do. Pay attention to the things that feel wrong, not because the world is dangerous, but because you deserve to know what is happening in your own life, in your own home, behind your own door. If this story gave you strength today, like and subscribe. New story every week. Comment your country below. Share with someone who needs to hear this.